So I title the talk "Simplicity," the power of simplicity. As the world is getting more and more complicated, it's actually nice to find out if it's possible to make it easier for all of us. It's actually a very difficult situation. Not closer to the mic. Okay, I actually give you a chance to sit down, relax, and turn off your devices like phones, computers, pacemakers, defibrillators, whatever you have going on. So I wrote a few points that I wanted to make. I guess are you all comfortable? There's no need for anybody to move forward. You have room there? Yeah, you're good? The first qualification for a spiritual practitioner is actually simplicity, because you have to realize that you have nothing. I mean, you may have stuff, but you can't take them with you. So that's the first thing you have to realize, that eventually, of course, most of you are young, quite young, so you think, oh, I have my entire life in front of me. But guess what? I was young too, and I thought the same thing, and here I am, and I'm on I would say, the third portion of my life. I think so. That is just, as you're approaching the corner where you can see that, yeah, I'm gonna die. It's gonna happen to me. It's inevitable. Matter of fact, there was once a king. His name was Yudhishthira, and he had 4 brothers, and his brothers were kidnapped. And in order to get his brothers back, the kidnappers presented a series of questions that he had to answer. Otherwise, they were going to kill him. And one of the questions said, "What's the most amazing thing in this world?" And the king said, "Oh, that's an easy one. The most amazing thing is that everybody is lining up towards the kingdom of death, and everybody on that line is thinking, it's not going to happen to me." What could be more amazing than that? So again, we are actually approaching, some more rapidly than others, the final lane, the checkered flag, where you actually have to leave this body. The good news is that we are not this body, even though the poster shows differently. That's all the paper I had available to write. Yeah, we're not the body. The body is a temporary vehicle that we borrow. It's like, the enterprise rental body that you just rent it for a week, for a month, for 20 years, for 100 years, but then you have to return it with the keys, with a full tank, and then here you go. So again, oop. Yeah, that's loud enough, I think. Okay, a little bit of an impasse, a technical audio impasse. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'm sure you can. So what do we have that is ours, that we can carry with us? And it's not the body. The body, you can't even take it for a ride for a few years, and then you have to switch it for another one. All the cells are different, the hair, the skin, everything is different. So you can't take the body. How about the record collection, or the CD collection, or all the terabytes of music that you have in your computer, or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, or your husband, or your wife, or your children, or your what else? Your wonderful bed and mattress that you save so much money to buy those really expensive Swedish mattresses, and can't even take those. can't remember the name, Tempur-Pedic. We have one. It's really good, but I can't take it. Can't even move it, actually. So you can't take anything. Your savings, your car, your family, even your memories, you can't. Because we actually been in a different body before, and what do you remember out of that? Can't even take your memories. Once in a while you get a whiff of, yeah, I may have been here before. Like, not only deja vu, but you just go to the top of a building and you look down and you get scared. Why do you get scared if you never fallen before? Because you probably have fallen. Why do you get scared? What are you afraid of? Why are you afraid of confined spaces, claustrophobia? Or why are you afraid of drowning if you never drowned before? Because you have. In a past life you must have. And now all these things remain. So nothing that you have you can take, so you better start simplifying now. Because all this other stuff is just garage sale material. Everything you have, family included. Yeah, it's nice. Yard sale, selling kids, uncles, aunts, everything. Bicycle. And so simplicity is very handy, because you have to actually turn inwards and see what's inside, what's important. My inner life. I'm not referring to amoebas and intestinal parasites. I'm referring to serious inner life, that you actually ponder about the questions of life, what life is offering you. So that's where simplicity kicks in, and it's very powerful. Just there was a king. His name was Raj Krishna Chandra, and he approached this Brahmin. I can't remember his name. I don't recall. It's also an old story. And the king was amazed to see that this Brahmin, this priest, was so renounced. He didn't have anything. He said, "What do you need?" Because the king was charitable, to give him something. And he said, "I don't need anything. I have a few disciples that they bring some extra rice, and I have a tamarind tree right outside. So I put some leaves in the rice and gives some nice flavor. That's it. I'm happy with that." So the king was surprised. I have so much. I'm never happy, and this man has nothing, and he's so happy. So detachment, or renunciation, or even simplicity, which is the goal, is actually a very, very nice feeling. That feeling that you don't need anything to be happy, because there's always something. You see, the function of the mind is to hanker for things that you don't have. So there's always, green grass. It's better on the other side of the fence. You think, oh, if I had, now I have a Toyota, but if I had Volkswagen, although they're turbo cars, I'll be better. And then when you get the Volkswagen, you say, if I had a Mercedes, that would be good. But when you drive a Mercedes and you see, a Lamborghini passing by you as if you were standing, then you think, oh, maybe. But no matter what you get, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy, because the mind is always hankering for something else. And the other function is lamenting, because once you lose something, then it becomes locked in your memory. That, oh, if I had that, if I had my childhood, if my friends and my parents were young, or if I had this, but it's all in the past. It's all gone. It's all gone. So all you have is your inner self, who you really are. And you should actually look inwards and try to develop that feeling that the most important thing is who you really are. Not who you pretend to be, or who people think you are, or who your parents shaped up to be, or society form you as. No, it's who you really are. And you are not the body. You're not a material being. You're a spiritual being. That's why you can't be happy. You can't be happy in a material circumstance, no matter what kind of accoutrements and gifts you get, because you're a spiritual being. It's just like a fish. You take a fish out of the water, and he said, here are the keys to a brand new Bentley. And I got you an apartment in Park Avenue in New York City. It's free for you. And I got a nice girlfriend with a fishy smell that you will love. And you can say anything to the fish, but he just wants to get back in the water. He has no interest in any of these things. So we may be a little more sophisticated than the fish and think, oh, if I get this, if I get that. But no, you're actually out of your element. You're a spiritual being. So you're in the material world, you're lost. No matter how new your phone is and how good the GPS in your phone is, you're lost still. Because you don't belong here. This is just a temporary stop. You're at a very sophisticated Greyhound bus station stop somewhere in the middle of nowhere. This is what the material world is. And you're not going to find, you may have find a vending machine, but it's not going to satisfy you. You need to go home. And home is where the spirit is, not where the material bodies are. And if you want to connect with anybody, you have to actually connect at that level. Not materially. Oh, I like this person because, is, likes the same music, or because has the same ethnicity that I do, or because speaks the same language, or because we have the same traumatic childhood in common, or, these are not serious factors to constitute a nexus. We have to intersect on the spiritual plane, and that's how you're going to be happy. What we were doing before, what she was doing before actually, was chanting. And that chanting is a process recommended for the last thousands and thousands of years to regain the access to the spirit, to the soul, to the person, to the Atma, to that which is covered in layers, the layers that are actually moving us away from a real self. These things are called lust, anger, greed, depression, whatever you have going. All this stuff is simply layers that can be dissipated and taken away. And this mantra meditation, which is what you were doing, chanting this particular mantra is very, very powerful. It's the most powerful of all mantras. There are thousands of mantras in the ancient Vedic literature, but they are all contained within one, which is this one. So if you chant this mantra, you don't have to worry about, I'm missing the other mantra, or I'm missing the other process, or I should practice austerity, so I should go to the top of the Himalaya mountains, so I should, stop eating, or I should read all the books in the world, or I should plant trees, I should dig wells, I should do charity, I should blah, blah, blah. This mantra actually will remove all the layers and will actually let you know who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. Because unless you know who you are, how the hell do you know what you're supposed to be doing? So first you have to know who you are. Okay, so with that small introduction, let's move on to the next point. Actually, I covered a few of the points already. That's good. Well, we're moving along. So this kirtan, some of the things that they do, the kirtan does, the mantra meditation, is it reduces sorrow, heals negative feelings, increases our positive feelings. Negative feelings, I'm talking about anger, jealousy, hatred, pride, and you will actually develop positive emotions like joy and tranquility, inner peace. Also reduces mental problems like depression, anxiety, and it helps you acquire things like humility and tolerance, which are necessary to live in this world. Because this world is a mess, and unless you're patient, you're never gonna be happy. Not even a glimpse of happiness will happen unless you tolerate your situation, because you're gonna think, oh, I don't deserve this. That's the first mistake. You do deserve whatever you have going. You do deserve it. Otherwise, it wouldn't happen to you. It's not like a big wheel of fortune that somebody's turning for you, and it just got there. Oh, this guy will get an avalanche over his house, and this other guy gets smashed in a car crash, and this guy gets money, even though he's an idiot and a nasty person. No, this is all due to karma. previous actions that result in a reaction. And the reaction is, well, right now, you're very fortunate, you know, because you have certain degree of beauty, of health, of knowledge, of education, and these are all the results of your previous actions. So you must have done something, at least materially, you have done something right. So now you get to enjoy the results of your good karma. But the problem is, they don't know what your future karma is. So you may find that it's not as bright as it is now. Or maybe it's better than it is now. But the problem with karma is that karma belongs to the material realm. So when you do something good, let's call it good, like charity, compassion, you know, whatever you do, you help others. You live for service. This is actually good, but you have to make a distinction between what's spiritual and material. It's like somebody's hungry, very hungry. I'm sure most of you are, and you say, "Oh, I have, you know, a dozen donuts for you," but it's a diabetic. So you're not really helping. You're actually probably killing that person. So we have to know what the person needs in order to give it to them. We may, someone, a doctor, you know, somebody comes in with gangrene and says, "Oh, I have a huge supply of Band-Aids. I can fix you in a second. You know, I can close that. But it's gangrene. It's gonna have to, the limb will have to come off." So this is what we need to know. What is the root cause of suffering and how to stop it? And that's how, if you simplify your life, things will get a little more clear. Just like when my wife and I moved to our current home, we live in Santa Barbara. The landlady lived next door, and she has a garage with, you know, 2-car garage. But she didn't allow us any use of it because it was completely covered with newspapers from 1963 and empty boxes and broken bricks and, you know, just trash everywhere, and she couldn't get rid of it, you know, one of those hoarders. So you have to make room. If you want to build, you need a good foundation. You can't just build on top of a pile of trash. So we have to take the trash out. That's why the mantra comes very handy, very, very handy. And I recommend that not just that you do it like, you know, like a spiritual practice. Most philosophies, religions, and, you know, yoga, all these kind of practices, they meet once a week and they do a little something, and, you know, they feel good about each other, high fives, and then go home and they just do the usual stuff, whatever it is. You have to take it with you. You have to be serious. You got to be serious. You have to make some kind of a commitment. I know that's a bad word. That's a 4-letter word for millennials, commitment. Because it's very difficult to live up to that kind of thing. You know, come on, my parents did it, and you see what happened. You know, it didn't work very well. Well, commitment for good things is excellent. Just like you can get a PhD overnight. You can be a concert pianist overnight. You can be a surgeon overnight. You have to actually work it. So you can be a spiritualist. To be actually a person who understands life is a job. It's a job. It's a good job. So you get the best result. You know, the pay is not very good, but the retirement plan is out of this world. So it's a good thing. So you have to actually apply yourself. You have to actually put some time into it and some practice. And yeah, you will go up and down like everything else, but you will get better at it, like any discipline. So don't be afraid of committing yourself to something. So do not just, if that's all you can do, that's okay. You know, if you can just come here once a week, chant, hang out, you know, socialize, and listen to some old hag or old dude talk about, you know, the meaning of life, like, you know, if he was a Monty Python skit kind of thing, then good for you. But if you're actually serious, if you want some results, then you have to make a commitment. So take the mantra, take it with you, and chant it, repeat it over and over, because it's not mindless repetition. There's a meaning, and there's a means of purification. The more you do it, the better it gets. The more happiness you find, the less anxiety you suffer. I've been doing it for a while. This is my 39th year chanting at least an hour or two a day, every day, without fail. And it works. Come on, give me a little credit. I would have given it up if it didn't work. I'm not that stupid. So, so it works. It works. If it worked for me, it will work for you. There's no doubt, because I'm nothing special. So try it, take it, write it down if you can memorize it. It's only 3 words, but I mean, it's not that hard, really. Hare Krishna Rama, that's it. And it's very democratic. It's put, placed everywhere where you can actually repeat it. So try chanting, and you don't necessarily need the music. The music is a good vehicle. It helps you carry it and makes it very enjoyable. But without the music, it works even more. It's like a prayer. It's like really deep. It gets deeper and deeper. I had no idea about spiritual life. I was quite inquisitive from an early age, and of course, my parents didn't have a clue, like most parents, except for those 2. Those are good. So I was trying to inquire, what's the point? What's the point? What's the point? And when I was, I don't know if you want to hear, personal story, but I'll tell you anyway. I still have 2 minutes. I think I was 9, between 9 and 10. And I decided to dedicate a whole year to understand the meaning of life. And if I didn't find what the meaning of life was, what the purpose of life was, I was going to kill myself. I was a little precautious in the suicide department. Yeah, I would say that. And then I decided, after a year, and I did ask people, because I used to hang out with adults. I hung out with old people because kids my age bore me to tears, and so I couldn't understand, why people live like mindless robots. They just go through life and they just get a job and get a family and pay mortgage and buy a car and get in traffic and drink coffee and all that stuff, for the entire life. I just didn't get it. I didn't think I was cut for that kind of life. So I decided, okay, after a year of seriously inquiring what was the meaning of life and not having any result, and I was reading books too. I was reading books. I decided, okay, I'm gonna end it up, And I wasn't morbid. I wasn't, thinking, should I, walk into a train, or should I throw myself off a building, or drown myself, take pills, shoot myself, what should I do? I wasn't thinking of the method, but I was about to start, because I kind of find the expiration date for my inquiry. And I heard a voice. I heard a voice that wasn't, you know what your mind sounds like. So it wasn't that voice. I heard a voice, very deep, saying, do not do it. Do not do it. I have something for you, but you're not mature enough to understand it. Just as clear as day. Just like you're hearing it from me, I heard it. So I was surprised. I was shocked. I don't think I was happy, but I was, convinced that this was otherworldly. That wasn't me. It wasn't my mind just bouncing off stuff. So I had a full life. And when I was 23, maybe 23, 24, I moved into the Brazilian jungle. because I had an epiphany, a spiritual realization that there was, a superior intelligence to mine. Hard to admit it, but it was a fact, and that there was some order and beauty and so on. I didn't know it was God or not, because I had no idea, but I knew there was some order, that everything had some kind of a, it's like pearls. You see a necklace made of pearls, and there is a thread inside holding the pearls together. You don't see the thread, but it's there. So I understood there is a thread holding the existence, the entire existence. And so I tried to talk about it with my friends and my family and so on, and they had no interest whatsoever. So I just decided, okay, I'm moving out. I'm moving to the outside of this, whatever I can be by myself. So a friend told me about an abandoned hippie village in northeast Brazil, and I just hitchhiked, took a bus, and got there after long journey. And I was by myself for nearly 6 months. There was no food except for coconuts that hung off the coconut trees. So every couple of days a coconut would fall and I would cut it. I had a Swiss knife, very useful, and open it up and drink the coconut water. And there was a river, so I drank the water, it was clear. So I lived on coconut water and water for about 6 months. And I had a saxophone, which I played horribly, and a bunch of books. But I was actually praying, meditating, trying to understand how things were. I was smoking pot, because that's when I had the epiphany. I was actually smoking. So I thought, this is what authors such as Aldous Huxley spoke about, the doors of perception. He wrote a book about it, because this is like some drugs that they're open, expand your mind, and so on. So I thought, well, if that's my epiphany happened while I was smoking, I guess I'm supposed to be smoking. Although, one day I decided to go to town. It was many months since I did. I was far away. I was about 3-4 miles from the nearest fishing village, and about 45 miles from any towns. And I went to town, and I met someone who told me that you're not the body. You're a spirit soul within the body. And I said, so how do you get in touch with this inner world? Because I know by smoking I do. And she said, no, actually there's an easier method, and it's the mantra meditation. It really works. I mean, this is kind of a summary of many things happened during that time, but I don't want to bore you or delay the program by telling all the details. But so that got me started, and I was a bohemian guy, so I had trouble with commitment as well. But I did, put the two and two together, and I dedicated myself to continue this journey. And it's not like you have to stop whatever else you're doing. Well, you have to stop certain things, but they're not good for you anyway, right? But don't worry about that. They will actually go away by themselves. It's like you think, oh, if I do this, then I can't do that. Actually, if you do the right thing, you will lose taste for the things that are not good for you. That's how it works. Once you do something, I'll give you an example, and then we end here. Let's say you are a normal person. You have some amount of money and some standard of living, and all of a sudden you have amnesia, and you find yourself in the back of supermarkets, digging out of the dumpsters, looking for food, and hanging out with wrong people, and somebody who knew you from before recognizes you, and you've been lost for a year or so doing what you're doing now. It tells you, hey, I know who you are. Well, I don't know what you're doing here. You have a house. You actually have a huge refrigerator full of stuff. I don't know why you're doing this. And unless that person recovers the memory, it will be very difficult to give up the current lifestyle, even though it's pretty abominable for others. You get used to anything. So right now we think, oh, I love this, I like doing that, I can't give this up, or I can't do this or that. No, you actually can. You actually can. And you actually will get a higher taste. I have a friend who, I did a fast recently, and I encouraged another friend of mine to do a fast. Well, I wasn't too fat when I started the fast, and it wasn't for losing weight that I did, but although it helped in that regard as well. He weighed 317 pounds, which is, very active person, but still big, and he was always chubby. And I encouraged him to go on a fast like mine. I did 21 days, no water, only water, just water and a little salt. And then start eating, I either have juices or just, eat raw food, something like that. So he's on his 45th day right now. He fasted for 21, he started with juices, and now he's doing a dry fast for a week, nothing, not even water. And he lost a lot of weight, he's super happy, he looks great. So even though it seems impossible for an ordinary person, no, you can actually do amazing stuff, amazing stuff. You hear stories about some car wreck when a mother with the kids, trapped in a car, and the mother comes out, rips the door, and lifts the car, and gets the kids out. So you can actually do amazing stuff. Don't try it. Don't try it at home. But wait until it really happens. It hopefully won't. But try now to at least take the mantra with you and practice it. Chant it regularly. Chant it without music or with music, when you're in public or when you're by yourself, anywhere. It's free. Even customs won't detect it. You can go anywhere. So, if you have any comments or questions, we can take a couple, and then we'll move on to the next portion of the program. Yeah.
So when it comes to karma, it's not necessary for it to play out. There's ways of just deleting your karma?
Well, good karma and bad karma are both bad, because they're bounding. They're binding. They actually tie you up to our next life. So you say, well, I can counteract my bad karma by doing good karma. If someone's a jerk and becomes a nice person, oh, that's great. But it's just one step, because that means you have to take another birth and grow old and get sick and die. So karma is a binding thing. What you have to do is to transcend. The idea is to go above it. Like if you're in a house and the house is full of stuff that you don't need, it's just very difficult to organize, to get the determination to do something about it. But if you're actually moving out and flying above and going somewhere else, it's like, oh, I can't even see my house. So you have to transcend. You have to actually lift your consciousness from where you're at, so you see what's really important to you. Because karma will bind you. Karma will, is a good start. It's a good start. It's not the all in all to change bad karma into good karma. It's to actually get rid of karma. Good karma is bad too.
So how do you transcend it? Or
You chant.
So you just energetically move past it?
The karma will, the mantra will take care of all the details. It's like a travel agent, All you have to do is pay the ticket. And they will book it for you, they will get you a room, they will get you the right meal, they will get you a hotel, everything will be taken care of. You just take the karma, take the mantra, and chant. And try to actually apply. Chant with love, chant with attention. You see, it's a personal thing, not some tool that it's not like an iPhone. You use it because you need it, and then when the new one comes out, you just toss it. The mantra is actually, it's like a relationship that you have. It's an important thing. It will become very important to you.
Thank you.
No, certainly. I hope I answered somewhat. Yeah?
As much as words can explain.
Yeah, actually. Well, that's the difference between the mantra and common words. The mantra has the essence and the words are identical. So you actually get in contact with the root of your existence, not just nomenclature, something that indicates something. It's actually, the essence is present within the mantra. Yeah. Anybody else? Shall we chant a little more? Yeah? All right. Thanks very much.